be king. A tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized.
You're watching OLE, and this is a Dijak Hijack.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NXT Battleground post show. I am OLED Ed Fries, and I'm joined by my partner, the natural Astrid Pizarro. We've got a wonderful guest. We're completing sets this weekend. We had Cat and Cat We Trust to complete the Meta 2, and now the Monday Night Bestie set is complete by having DC Hendricks joining us. DC, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate you for the offer. Appreciate being here, and shout out our local establishment. Always great shows. Shout out Astrid, of course, all her hard work. You guys got a great show here, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we appreciate it. And if you want to see more of them, go ahead and check them out every Monday night after Raw goes off the air on the bodyslam.net YouTube channel, and I believe a couple other places too, right? I know it's the YouTube channel, but I don't know what else. Yeah,
we stream YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I think, all the above.
Yeah, but definitely go check them out. It is my favorite Monday night post show to watch because they just have fun, like what we do here. We just try to have fun with wrestling because if you're not having fun with it, what's the point?
Yeah, wrestling's supposed to be fun, and a lot of people forget that. So we try to have fun on Mondays, as I know you guys try to do on here. So it's all love.
We got a good friend Bobby Munson in the chat. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the channel, DC.
Shout out, shout out.
So what did everybody think overall of NXT Battleground? DC, we'll start with you.
I thought it was pretty good overall. I mean, all the results were pretty much as I expected. I really didn't expect anything crazy. I guess, the matches were what we were all looking for. Just good matches. We just wanted a good product, a good show. I disagreed with a couple of the finishes. I just thought a couple of the finishes were a little questionable. I'm sure that there's a couple stories that aren't finished being written, so maybe that's why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense now. But overall, for the most part, everyone won tonight that was supposed to. At least that was expected to, and the matches were great. We had the TNA crossover, TNA chance, which was a highlight of the night for me. So overall, I thought it was actually a pretty good pay-per-view.
Astrid?
Yeah, I feel like pretty much it felt like really high tonight, like a high energy and high pace kind of show tonight. I think the underground might have been a little bit slow in some, in some moments here and there. But other than that, I feel like everything was really fast paced. And even with the winners kind of being like, oh my God, that's not who I saw. But it's like, I like how they did it. So overall, I liked how it's moving forward and looking forward to seeing how it all comes down on Tuesday again as well.
Yeah, we just want to welcome the people from Get the Tables. Get the Tables has rated us again. Thank you, good friend Tony. And you can catch all the watch-alongs with Tony with all your AEW, WWE goodness. You can watch along with them every night, essentially, of the week. They got something going on between him and Diamond Dave. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Tony, we appreciate you for jumping in. We got John Cena saying hello. We got my other tag team partner, Andre C., jumping in saying hello. Hello, everyone. I was too. I was hoping for something to happen that surprised me tonight, and I missed that little bit of the surprise element to the show. Although, everything was good, nothing was overly bad. But at the same point, I was hoping for something to surprise me. I thought there was an opportunity left on the table when it came to Roxanne versus Jordynne. Like I said, I talked about it in my the fantasy booking I did during the preview show. But I think if you'd swap the belts between the two of them, with Roxanne losing tonight and then Jordynne losing to Roxanne at Against All Odds, I think you create a way where both sides win while both sides lose. because you have Roxanne with a fresh new batch of opponents that you can run through 1, 2, 3, 4, with all the TNA originals being like, I need to take her on. I need to get this belt back. And you can have Jordynne Grace having bangers in NXT for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
All leading up to Heatwave, all leading up past Heatwave, depending on how healthy Julia is. I thought you could have gotten a month or two out of this with having that opportunity so that both sides win, because both sides get a big win. Both sides get a bunch of publicity. And eventually both sides have to drop their titles. So it makes sense storyline-wise that nobody really comes out having lost in that battle.
Yeah, I would agree to a certain extent, especially with the part. I love that you're thinking about, her, Jordynne, staying with NXT for a while, because if you look at the women's division right now, there's a lot of people out. And I think, Jordynne would fill a huge void and gives Roxanne a feud for a little bit. I think so. I'm kind of with you on that, because right now, like, you look at Nikita Lyons is out, Cora Jade is out, and those are two. And Gigi Dolan just got. They just announced her injury earlier as well. So, like, there's JC Jane had the nose. They had a problem with her nose. So, like, there's so many people out right now. So, like, it would have been a great time, as we wait for Julia, like you said. I just didn't like the finish. I just thought the finish was kind of messy in that match. That was one of the endings where I was like, this is a mess. Like, in my personal opinion, it made Jordynne look a little bit weak because she couldn't handle one simple little distraction. I didn't like the ending at all. And Tatum Paxley's obsession with the NXT title, NXT Women's title, I think is actually funny. So I actually like that part of it. I thought I don't even watch TNA like that, so I didn't know exactly who that was that came out right away. But I know it was a TNA superstar. I think it was that Dana Brooke, her new character? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I couldn't tell because she looked totally different. So I was thrown off.
It's the third new Dana Brooke. I'm telling you. Dana Brooke changes every time she pops up somewhere.
I can't keep up. But yeah, that was one of the matches where I just didn't like the finish. I thought they should have just let them both cook and let them both, finish it in the ring. Roxanne steals a victory, in some shape or fashion, and then this feud continues. And I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely. Like I said, it's not a bad thing, but I thought there was an opportunity to do a lot of fun and a lot of interesting.
Agreed.
Because it benefits both. All these partnerships always seem to benefit one side more than the other. And I was like, this was an opportunity where you had a really unique opportunity with Jordynne Grace having that open challenge to do the flip to make sense.
Yeah.
And both sides come out looking stronger because of it. And it gives us some really fun matchups on the TNA side. And again, like you said, there's a lot of holes that it can fill on the NXT side. But we will start with we'll start where they started with the NXT Women's Ladder match. Astrid, I want to go ahead and get your thoughts on this one first. What do you think?
I really liked it. I'm glad it was the opener. I feel like it made the girls shine a lot more. And, to quote what Vic Joseph was saying, there's a lot more women competing tonight on this pay-per-view altogether. Not only in matches, but I like the number of women in total compared to the men, because they have a great women's division. You can see that with the slider match there. And I feel like there's people like Lash, one that's really was a highlight for me, that really showed up how strong she is. She was able to have 2-3 women on her back and still climb the ladder with 2 of them on her back, what she did. And it's just like the way that it took all of them to take her out. I really thought maybe at the end she would come back in and get the title, because I feel like usually that kind of happens. Somebody gets taken out kind of in those kind of moments. So that made me think that maybe she was going to win it. But, the moments that they have one on top of the other one for the sleeper hold, I thought that was one of the moments I was like, holy crap. I think it was her and Jaida just stretching out Kelani on top of the ladder. It was one of the moments that I was like, holy crap. But yeah, I feel like it felt kind of quiet at first, but I feel like once they kind of picked up the pace, and it's like, I feel like they had the crowd going. They got in this is awesome chant. And it was those moments that you could hear the gasp from the crowd whenever something happened. And it's like in the soul snatchers out of nowhere, it was incredible. I really enjoyed all of it, and I'm glad the women had this, because I feel like they all got a little bit of showcasing, but one that really stood out to me was definitely Lash. You're muted, sir.
To get the tables jumping in saying I'm a bit shocked they went with Kelani. I am too. I was a little surprised by that one. As Sean Cena says, I was surprised by Kelani's win. He was pulling for Fallon. Fallon coming in after apparently killing the family cow. Either that or business is real good at the family bar. One of the two. But Fallon got an upscale little redo here. She's definitely now trying to go top shelf Fallon Henley again. PC, what do you think of this ladder match here?
Agree 100% with the commenters. I'm looking at this match, looking at all the women involved. You got Ruca, Fallon Henley, Lash Legend, Jaida Parker. I mean, and like, this is no shade to Kelani. I can't say this on Twitter because Carmelo Hayes follows me, so I would like to keep that follow. Don't want to. So hopefully he's not watching. But I was, no offense to Kelani, but she was literally the one person I did not expect to win this. So this was for me the shocker, I guess. So you said you were looking to be shocked, and for me, I was shocked by this because she was literally the one person. I was like, she doesn't even really have a story to win the title. Like, you got people like Lash Legend that's been here since the beginning. You got her meshing with Trick Williams now and their romance outside the ring. They could have brought it inside, I guess, a little bit. Jaida Parker, who was like the top rising superstar in the division. Ruca's the crowd favorite. You got Fallon Henley again, who's spent so much time in NXT already. Could have gave her the belt after being in NXT for so long. There's so many different scenarios. So like, this just shows, look, they're throwing Kelani in. This is big. Like, she's the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion. So this is, I don't want to say they're throwing her in with the Sharks, but they're saying, hey, look, this is your chance. We believe in you, and this is your chance. But the only thing I would also disagree with was this should have main evented, in my personal opinion. This should have been the last match. And I think Astrid was talking about the energy at the beginning. It felt kind of lackluster. And I think it was like almost shocked, like, oh, we're starting with this? Like, and I kind of felt that, like, this should have been the main event. That's the biggest storyline for this pay-per-view. That was the biggest storyline. So that should have main evented. No shade to Trick Williams. I know he's the champ, but it's just my personal opinion. I thought it should have been the last match.
Yeah, going into this, me and Astrid had talked about how I thought Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne was going to main event. I thought that was a really big story. That was a key match. And I kept thinking that Jordynne Grace was going to win throughout the entire week. So that's why I was like, you end with that big story of Jordynne Grace. Oh my God, the NXT championship is now under, the control of a TNA champion. What do we do now?
Right.
This ladder match was fantastic. There's just so many great, oh my God, moments from this. Just these women went hell for leather.
Yeah.
They did not hold back at all. Thank God. They killed it out there. Poor Lash and her back. I mean, maybe she was supposed to get back into this, but after what they did to her, all five of them.
She didn't even like try to block it. Like, I don't even think she blocked any of it. Like, she just got like all back on that ladder. Like, that was one of the biggest oh my God moments, but I got to give the biggest Ruca. Like, she sold the show. Like, the double, what is she? Soul Snatchers. Two of them back to back, like, and so smooth. Like, that is one of the best finishers in all of professional wrestling, and she stole the show with that because it just came out of nowhere. It was like a Randy Orton RKO almost, like out of nowhere. Like, I give the OMG moments tonight in that match, especially to Ruca for sure.
Yeah, I really thought Soul was going to be the person because it seems to be where they want to. That division seems to be going behind Ruca for the future. Because I think she's the most, while she's been out for a while with that injury, I think she was almost ready for that championship push before she got hurt. I thought they were going to continue it here with giving her this to get her ready so that eventually she could take the title from probably Julia at some point. But I love the idea of going with Kelani. This is Shawn Michaels putting a stamp of approval on Kelani and going, she may not be ready yet, but she's going to be ready. She's my girl. This is the one that I'm choosing to run with. And you know what? I can't argue with the Heartbreak Kid. If that's who he thinks is the future of this business, we go with it.
It worked for Roxanne, didn't it?
Yeah.
We ride with it. We ride with HBK.
Yeah, it worked for Roxanne. They gave Roxanne the title, and look what happened to her. She blossomed into a star. So we could be watching that with Kelani as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited for what the future holds for Kelani. That was a bit of a surprise, but at the same time, I didn't feel like there was a bad choice between the 6. Like, I felt like if you go with any of the 6, there's a story to tell. If Michin gets the win, it's she's been in WWE all this time, never held a championship. Now she's got one, and she's got an instant feud with Jaida Parker, which they're still continuing without the championship, which is great. You have Sol Ruca, who's ready to be champion, and you have that, so maybe she's probably the next for Roxanne, where I would imagine if Julia's not ready, we're probably rolling with Sol going into Heatwave, depending on Julia's health. And then you had Lash, who, I mean, Lash and Jaida Parker are... Jaida Parker I've believed in from the start. As soon as I saw her with OTM, I'm like, boom, this is what we need. She's a perfect fit here. It's taken me a lot longer to come to grips with Lash Legend. on another show, on another life, on another channel, I did once threaten to quit the show if Lash Legend won the women's breakout tournament. Because I did not like Lash Legend that much. However, she has so vastly improved that as long as she doesn't do that screech thing that she does, she's one of my favorite people on the television screen. She is becoming a delight.
I'm sorry, I'm clipping this. Huh?
Don't forget to clip DC saying, that he's only praising Kelani because of Carmelo.
Oh no! Definitely don't take that part. I need that.
Carmelo's already out here fighting fools on Twitter for bashing Kelani.
Yeah, I seen him too. I was like, look, that's my.
I love that one where he was like, look, take it easy on this person.
Yeah.
Don't go hard. But you come at my girl, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care what you say about me.
Right.
Do not talk about her.
Yep, just like that. My tweet was saved in drafts and instantly deleted. I didn't say nothing.
Yes, speedy recovery to Gigi Dolan with her leg injury. Hopefully all is well. It's a shame because I still feel like NXT's dropping the ball with that one, because even if she's hurt, I still feel like you could do the Miss NXT vignettes with her and just do them over a much longer period of time.
Yeah, I think that was the storyline they're rolling with too. I think that's why I think they were originally going to do that before she got hurt, and then she got hurt, and they're like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to abruptly find a way to at least write her off for now. And I think that's pretty much what they did when she was like, skip this, I'm done, and just took all the stuff that Ariana Grace gave her. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her when she comes back.
Yeah, she was my favorite once Toxic Attraction blew up. Obviously, my favorite was Mandy Rose, but it's another time and another life.
Same.
Mandy doesn't exist in WWE anymore, so
no.
We then move on to the tag team championship match between Axiom, Nathan Frazer, and Axiom taking on the Good Brothers. I want to sit here and praise a man who very rarely gets enough praise. Karl Anderson is a fucking machine, man. That man is so good in the ring. And he essentially single-handedly fought Axiom and did a really good job of it. Like, I know that they put Gallows to work tonight. Like, he had to work way more than he's ever used to. I get that. But Karl is so smooth working with these guys. And he's twice their age. He's been doing this almost as long as they've been alive, it seems. And he's still so good. I
be like, where's the lie?
No, there's no where's the lie for that one. But I do wish that we could get one singles run for Karl Anderson. Give that man the Intercontinental Championship. Give that man the U.S. title. And just let this guy go have classics, because he can. He is... People forget, he was the first person that Finn Balor and Bad Luck Fale brought into Bullet Club.
That's
He
right.
didn't bring them in as a tag team. They strictly brought in Karl Anderson into the club.
That's right.
This man is so good. However, Axiom is just greatness. And they did such a good job in this match with all three of them working together. I'm not counting Gallows in it. He doesn't count. The three of them working together was fantastic. I really like this match, and I'm glad that Axiom wins. We get to move on to another set of challengers for them, but it gives them a little bit of a leg up here, having beaten the Good Brothers. We do have STG saying, OLED talking about age. Look, I think I'm the senior person on this podcast, being in the 40 club. I get to talk about how old people are. And by the way, I'm praising the old guy in this scenario. I'm praising Karl Anderson and not talking down about his age.
Just to make that clear for anyone.
No, I'm not 40 plus 20. Get out of here with that noise, SGG. We liked you on Tuesday. Let's continue to like you. DC, after you recover from STG being a villain in the chat, why don't you go ahead and talk about the tag title match?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Karl carried that entire match, honestly. There was I forget who told Nathan Frazer when before they faced, they literally told him it was a hot mic. I don't think they were supposed to be heard, but they said slow down, and it's a testament to how fast Nathan Frazer moves in that ring. There's certain people that wouldn't be able to keep up with that. He's just that fast, and Axiom the same thing. Those two are just ridiculously fast, fluid in the ring, and only certain people would be able to bring the best out of that. And Karl Anderson, carried that match, honestly. Just could have just made that a handicap match. It might as well have been, because Gallows didn't do anything with you 100%. I don't remember anything Gallows did in that match, anything. I think he ran into Frazer in the corner once, just did the normal big man smash in the corner. That's literally all I remember.
He took a couple bumps for once, which is
he
nice.
did. He took a couple bumps and bruises. But yeah, you're 100% right. The outcome, this is one of the matches where you have to get it right. While I'm with you that Karl definitely deserves some gold around his waist, I just don't think the NXT tag titles really match what he deserves. I think he is much bigger than that. I think he deserves more than that. So I'm with you on that. But Nathan Frazer and Axiom definitely was the outcome to have. They shine, and I'm looking forward to who's next. I really have no idea who's going to be next, because there's so many tag teams in NXT that they're all trying to build up. But I'm just looking forward to watching them two build and grow even more as a tag team.
Miss Astrid.
I was thinking, watch us get a battle royal this week for the number one contenders of the tag teams.
There we go.
Because that's something NXT likes to do when there's nobody around to handpicked. When they don't have a plan, that's the go-to. So if we get a battle royal, now you know DC. No, this was another one that I really enjoyed it. I love Axiom as a tag team. I love how quick and fast paced that's what I love, and that's what they're giving me. And I love seeing that. And there's no way I would have rooted against them. It's they did so great. Especially, I love the part when Nathan just jumped from the middle of the ring to save the match, and they actually pointed out how he went more than halfway through the ring just to save the match. And even the ending is I just love how they do the finishers together. Just it looks so beautiful and so lovely. So there was I think 2 close calls when Karl was pinning them, and I was afraid that they were actually winning. I was like, no, I don't want my boys to lose their titles. So I was very glad that they were actually able to help each other in such a way that it just worked out so well, and I'm really glad. But this was one of those that I was hoping from the get-go that Axiom would retain, because I really, as much as I like Karl, I don't want the OC any other tag titles right now, at least with this tag team, because they're doing so well. And the funny part is I had never thought about them being a tag team, because I love them both as singles competitors. So being as a tag team, I love their styles because they're the same to me, but I never expected them to be a tag team anytime soon. So to see them now, I don't want the titles off of them anytime soon.
The same but different is Nathan Frazer and Axiom. They are 2 sides of the same coin. We do have Mama Fry's quote of the night here going, "No man needs to have that long of hair," while talking about Nathan Frazer. to which I then explained that her, his mentor is Seth Rollins. To which she goes, "Oh, well, I'm glad he doesn't come out dressed like a girl like Seth does." So
nobody has style like Seth.
Nobody has style like Seth, and Mama Fries is not feeling Seth's style. That's okay. We don't all have to feel Seth's style. If Karl and Luke won tag team gold, they should no gold for Luke Gallows. No, we don't want Luke Gallows getting any gold.
Nah.
Why are we gonna I'm not the biggest fans of A-Town Down as a tag team. They're fine. I like both of them individually. I think both of them individually are the future of this business, and they're great. But no. A-Town Down is not losing to the OC.
No.
We can find 2 other guys. I'm sure there's 2 guys on speed that can take those titles off.
I'd like to see. I think the Street Profits, the Pride, whatever they're called these days. I think they're going to be the ones that eventually take it from them. Especially now with it looks like Austin Theory is going to be a babyface now, so that's throwing me off. But I'm with you. I like both of them like by themselves. But like I got to watch them in person at a house show. So like them as a tag team, they had just got the belts, and even the crowd was talking about it. They're like they just don't feel like a tag team. They just feel again like 2 guys just thrown together. So.
And I like how they're trying, at least unlike a lot of those tag teams, they're trying to make it work. They're trying to make the whole I'm the best bravado, but like you're my boy and that's okay thing work. But like, no. But I like them both individually. I think that there's a lot for them. As long as Austin Theory, calms down the negative shit from the past. But we won't talk about that. Speaking of negative shit from the past, we have to have 3 back-to-back promo packages as they get ready for NXT Underground. At first, I was like, oh, a new Josh Briggs promo. And then I'm like, oh, no, it's the same one we've seen.
Same one.
And I'm like, all right, after this, we're going to get something interesting. And then we got the Carly Bright promo. And I smiled because it's Carly Bright, and she always makes me smile. Because how can you not see Carly Bright and smile? However, it's this point that I messaged Astrid in our Discord chat and was like, oh, they're setting up for Underground. Because we then got the Dante Chen promo. And I'll be honest, the 3 promos were better than the NXT Underground match.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Aye.
Ouch.
NXT Underground. Lola Vice defeats Shayna Baszler. DC, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was okay. I would disagree that the promos were better. The match wasn't that great though, to be honest. Like they looked confused a little bit. Like it's like they both were like, all right, what do we do here? Like there's no ropes. Like there's like it's almost like they forgot that it wasn't a normal match. Like they're both former fighters, so like I'm sure a little bit of that. It just felt really uncomfortable at moments. Like you could see it on their face. Like especially when they went outside the ring and they started going towards the tables, they just looked like they were trying to figure it out. Like as they were going, like literally as they were going and moving, and it just felt slow. Sometimes I think Astrid said that earlier, where there were moments that it just felt like they were just dragging along. But again, this is another one where the outcome is what mattered, in my opinion. It's Shayna Baszler elevating Lola Vice, and that's pretty much what I got out of this match. It wasn't the greatest one, but the job got done. It was all to once again elevate Lola Vice, who they're going to be pushing really soon. I wouldn't be surprised if she feuds with Kelani with the title. So this is the outcome is what I think mattered in this the most.
Astrid, your thoughts on the outcome of this match?
We got to talk to Chef Sean because he was cooking up until this happened, because it's a big no. I didn't want to see her shaking her butt at the end because I knew it was going to happen. Hated that. I was so frustrated because to me, the match, like I said, the match was really slow. And then up until it had the moments of like when Shayna hits a kneecap by the commentary table, when Shayna almost gets her hurt by the steel steps, those moments, it all happened with Shayna. Lola didn't have any of those moments. So to me, she was not a highlight in this match. So it's like it was always slow until something happened to Shayna. Oh, this happened to Shayna, or like Shayna got hit by this, and Shayna's almost out. And there were all the highlights that happened, all the moments that the crowd reacted to, it all happened because of Shayna. So it was like, and then the match it felt slow up until that moment happened. The people started gasping when those little moments happened here and there. So I was like, in a way, I feel like Lola at the same time, I feel like she did well in this match because this is her environment. But this is something I was talking to Mel as I was talking about the match to her. It's just like, we're not going to always have an NXT Underground match to make her stand out. She needs to do better in the ring because she's going to get these regular matches on a regular basis. This only happens every now and then. You're not going to always do an NXT Underground where everyone refused to end it because that one's going to get boring and repetitive. And by knowing them, they might do that. So you never know. But it's just like, I really don't want to see that every time with her, because this is the moment that we're going to be, oh, she's going to win because it's NXT Underground and that's her environment. Like, I don't want to see that either. And it's just like, it just frustrated me because I kept thinking, I want her to be like this in a regular match. Why don't we get that version of her in a regular match? And again, it's like, this is one of those that I was hoping Shayna would win, because like, why do you have Shayna in there? She just beat Ronda recently. She's supposed to be the baddest woman on the planet. She's the first one to transition over from MMA to WWE like this, and then you have her lose to Lola. And I was like, I get why, because you're uplifting Lola and showcasing her, but it's like, I didn't want Shayna to lose this. I feel like it wasn't for her to lose it, but it just, that part is just disappointing. And they're like, oh, she doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know that she lost, and she's confused. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not buying what you're selling me. I really am not.
A couple months ago, Shayna Baszler defeated with relative ease Masha Slamovich inside of Bloodsport. And you're telling me that I'm supposed to somehow believe in the same world where Shayna Baszler beat Masha Slamovich that Lola Vice beat Shayna Baszler? No. I can't swallow that pill. More importantly, if that wasn't enough, the foregone conclusion that Clash of the Castle has now become that Jade and Bianca are winning that match. I love the Unholy Union. They're not winning in Scotland. Sorry, girls. You're on the card. Good for you. You got on your PLE.
Same for Piper too, unfortunately.
Yeah, same for Piper. Probably the same for Drew, but that's a much different discussion. But the one chance that you had of potentially having some friction between Jade and Bianca and have somebody steal the title and have Shayna and Zoe steal it is completely gone. If you can't beat Lola Vice in an MMA style match, there ain't no way in hell in a wrestling match you're beating Bianca and Jade. And then to see her dancing afterwards, just
that stuff's driving me nuts. Like, it's, you know, I knew it was gonna happen too with Sexy Red being the host of NXT Battleground. I knew it was gonna happen. I kind of wish she would. I mean, I know that's part of her. She's always done it, even when she was a fighter. So, like, I get it. That's part of who she is. But I actually thought the outcome was good. And even the ending, where Shayna lost, but she really, it felt like the ref stopped it too early.
Yeah.
So, like, it didn't really feel like she was technically beat. It felt like Gunter and Randy Orton, where Randy was pinned, but his shoulders weren't down, so like it's still up in the air. So I kind of felt like the ending actually fit. So I'm actually with it. I just thought the match overall was just kind of meh. I'm kind of with Astrid on the possibly playing out the underground style. Like, this is what, the third time now in like a couple of months. Like, Eddie Thorpe and Dijak did it just a few months ago too. And then you got Natalya and Lola, and then again with Shayna Lola. Like, I know the UFC partnership, I get it. TKO, I get it. But like, we don't have to do this every other month.
And I like the underground match. Like, I like the style of match. I like the way I like how different it is. They removed, not only do they remove the ropes, there's no like camera on the crowd. You can't see any of that. It's just the PC people around the ringside. I like all that. I just feel like it demystified Shayna Baszler too much.
If it was a regular match and Lola like cheated to win, I feel like that tells the story a lot better, because that's not technically, like, that plays more to Shayna's character, because Shayna hasn't really adapted a whole, like, she did well in NXT, but on the main roster still really hasn't done a whole lot. Because like, you could almost play that story where like, look, you can be good in the octagon, but this is my ring. I own this world, and Lola could have won that way. So maybe it just didn't need to be underground. It could have just been a regular match.
Yeah, it's just I'm a big Shayna Baszler fan, and I was just like, but like you said, it's all in the effort of making Lola Vice more elevated. And God, this experiment better work. This experiment better work because I'm on my last straws with Lola Vice right now. Like, I texted Astrid. I'm like, I don't normally root for people to lose their jobs, but Lola Vice is pushing me to that edge where I'm going to start wishing she loses her job because I don't know how much more her I can handle. We then, coming out of the NXT Underground, get a couple more promo packages. We get the Eddie Thorpe promo package. Sexy Red and her crew are backstage, and Kelani comes back, and they talk about going partying in Las Vegas, and Sexy Red grinds on Kelani, I think happened. It was weird. I don't know what happened, but she was trying to twerk on Kelani, but Kelani was forward, so it looked weird. I don't know what the hell's happening. But Sexy Red and her people leave, and I hope that's the last we see of them. Unfortunately, it's not. But I wished it was the last we saw of Sexy Red. By the way, I'm not a Sexy Red fan. I don't know about you, DC.
No. That is not my age demographic.
They had the promo packages for Sexy Red coming to your town with a tour, and I'm like, please, I'll pay to her not to come to my town. Is there amount of money I can pay for her not to come here?
I would not,
away from me as possible?
If Sexy Red did a concert in my living room, I still wouldn't watch.
No, I'd be somewhere else. Right. I'd find anywhere else to be.
I'm sorry. That is just not. I like hip hop and rap, but like I just might be too old or what. I don't know what it is, but that is not for me. I'm sorry. I'm
sitting here listening to Houdini, and I'm like, this is great. Reminds me of my childhood. Like, it's not right. It's not politically correct, but it's Eminem, right. And it's mostly all like fake stuff just for people to yell at him so that he can make more money. But like, I love Houdini. Houdini's great. Sexy Red.
I grew up listening to like Kid and Play and the old school. So like the Sexy Red stuff just ain't for me.
Moving on to things that are for all of us. The North American Championship match between Femi, my man Femi. Oh, I love Femi so much. Joe Coffey and Wesley. DC, why don't you go ahead and talk about this match? What did you think here?
I thought this was match of the night. I didn't expect it to be. I really thought the ladder match was going to steal it. I feel like I said earlier, I feel like the ladder match feels the main event. It would have been a different vibe and would have changed everything. But this match for me stole the show once again. Femi again. First starting off, I wasn't the biggest Femi fan. I'm like, all right, here we go, another big guy doing big guy stuff. I'm big, and it's like I'd never been a big giant wrestler fan. Like I'd never really got into like Kane and Big Show. I did like the Undertaker, but like those just wasn't my style. But Femi is he's another level. Like he's like athletic and big, and there's not a lot of people like that. There's not a lot of people that have the athleticism, the power, and he's great on the mic too. Like dude cuts some good promos. Like for a young guy and for as short of a time that he's been the NXT champion, like he is growing on me. So I was really hoping he retained tonight. So once again, some big bright spots in that. I feel like him and Wesley work tremendous together. So please book that rematch. Please give me that one more time. Give me Femi Wesley one-on-one. But it looks like Wesley gets attacked after the match by Gallows. So it looks like we're going to get a Wesley Gallows feud for a little bit. But that match to me was match of the night. I feel like all three had bright spots. All three looked great in that match. They all three also had storylines that mattered, that could have gave them the victory. Like Wesley, obviously, greatest North American champion of all time. Him coming back, he could have won. That made sense. He's Wesley. Why not? And Joe Coffey, I think, for people that enjoy him, including myself, are waiting for his moment. I feel like he is a guy that deserves some gold, and I think that is going to happen to him eventually. But Femi shines once again. Gallows wasn't enough to stop him. There was no disqualification, so Gallows tried to help Joe win, and it wasn't enough. Femi gets right back up and attacks them, knocks them out, comes back in and finishes business. So I feel like we have just begun of the phenomenon of Femi.
Can we talk about there's two moments in Femi that I have to talk about. The first one is on the second rope. He picks Wesley up over his head, throws him out of frame on top of Joe Coffey while jumping off the second rope. Just what kind of like
we're talking about
agility,
somebody like
strength,
6.5 feet
power,
tall and like 300 pounds. Like,
and he can do all that. And then he had. I'm a big Marvel fan. I host a show on here, Marvel Talk, where we talk all things Marvel. And I texted it to Astrid. I'm like, oh my god, they've just turned Femi into the Incredible Hulk. Because after Gallows beat him down, and he does that little like rise up behind them like Keith Lee, and he grabs them and he pounds them and he starts throwing them around. I'm like, oh, this is his. You don't want to make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Like he's like, at first I was playing with you all. Now 4 of you are trying to beat me. Oh, let me show you how this works. And he goes in there and decimates everybody. The pop-up powerbomb to Joe Coffey. Like, it's not a pop-up powerbomb like what like Kevin Owens does, where he like brings them up and like just like sort of starts to powerbomb and just lets him go. No. He throws Joe Coffey in the air. And Joe's a big boy. Oh, I love Femi. I've loved him ever since I saw the vignettes of him throwing couches. I was like, I was sold when I saw this man throwing a couch. I'm like, yep, that's the kind of guy I can get behind. But you're right, DC. And on here, I keep saying Femi is what they hoped Omos would be.
Yep.
He's the Nigerian giant they hoped Omos would be.
Yep.
He's power, he's strength, he's agile, he can wrestle, he can talk.
Yes.
He does everything they need that they wanted Omos to be. And all you need to do is pair this man with MVP. When you bring him to the main roster, hopefully not too soon, but sooner than I'm going to want, he's going to the main roster. Drop Omos. Don't even explain where he went. Don't explain why MVP's not with him anymore. And just have MVP mentoring Oba. I think that would be a fantastic pair. Not because Oba can't talk, but because MVP brings just that little bit more.
Yep.
That he can teach him those little bit of extra things that, because we've talked about how sometimes the crowd gets in his way when he's trying to cut a promo. Those are the moments where you need an MVP so that MVP can teach him when to stop and when to step in or things like that. That's the little things that I think MVP can teach Oba, that I think that's why that pair would work so well. But Femi is just, he's my favorite. I love that man. He's so nice. He's my black brick wall, and I love him. Oba's awesome. I do wonder why they keep throwing him in triple threats, though. Lack of confidence. Maybe like he does the singles matches. Like he started doing all singles matches, and then at WrestleMania it was the triple threat, and then I think this was supposed to be him versus Wesley with Joe Coffey taking on Trick Williams, and then I think things started to domino. I think at some point that dominoed because I know people keep telling me it didn't happen. I still remember a moment where Joe Coffey took credit for taking out Noam Dar on NXT television. People tell me it didn't happen, but I'm sure it did.
It did.
Yeah.
But Astrid, what did you think of the triple threat match?
You know, when I saw oh my god, when I saw Joe in the air from that Papa Powerbomb, I thought about the slingshots that we have here as a ride and how high you can get. That's how I thought Joe would look like. He is part of the slingshot. He was up there and he's on the stars and everything. And he came back down, and I don't know how he's alive, to be honest. Because that one it had a little bit more oomph than the one from Wesley did, which was before that one. So when I saw the way he landed, I went, no. And then when he pinned him, I was like, oh, you definitely pinned that one because it was a little bit more than Wes's. But one thing, I guess to kind of reply to what Get the Table is saying, it just feels like I don't think it's him. I think it has to do more with the title because we're used to the North American Championship. It's usually like a multi-man type of championship. So it's pretty rare when you see a one-on-one match for the championship. It's like, I know that Oba tried to play it off with like, oh, let's do a one-on-one because that's how he is. And he's like, I'm not Wesley. I'm not going to do those multi-man matches on purpose because you're you and I'm me. But it also feels like the championship kind of goes that certain way. And one thing that I love about NXT is like whenever they have these multi-person matches, especially like anything like this one that is like a three-way, that there's rarely any time in the ring when there's only two people there. They also have that back and forth that there's always, at least all three of them have some kind of action going on, and I really love that. There's no moment that it really slows down for somebody to like get in the corner and rest. It like, let's go 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 as it happens there, and I really enjoy like the high pacing energy from the matches like this. And again, it's like Oba he's just a monster, to be honest. It's the best way I can describe him, like in a good way, obviously. But he just does so incredibly well in such a little time. And I feel like he's growing and growing more with that championship as well. So it's like I didn't see him losing this championship. I could see him retaining it. Like I see Gallows getting involved, but I just didn't know how the ending was gonna play off. And we had Gallows interrupting it not once but twice, and then I think West kind of threw like dive himself onto them at one point as well. So it's like I like how at the end we have, like you said, Oba coming from behind them all of a sudden, just like hitting them both to get rid of both of them. I was like, this is not happening in my match. But again, that was really unstoppable. And based on the outcome, I do see Wesley getting a rematch happening since he didn't get pinned as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had with Oba Femi. Just a whole bunch. He's just delightful. He makes me smile like Carly Bright every time I see him. We got Get the Tables coming in saying, I know a lot of people have said Braun looks like a young Brock, but Oba looks like maybe. Let's hope he has less penchants for the yellow liquid than Brock does. But let's leave that there. But no, I mean, young Brock seems like a half decent comparison. Young Brock was a beast.
Was
the next big thing was certainly a time period in WWE that will never. I remember the commercial of him slamming the shark, and I go, "That's not CGI. I guarantee you, he grabbed the shark out of the water and just F5 the shark." Like that's the kind of thing that I saw with like young Brock at that time. I'm like, no, that's real. That's not a CGI. That's not. Oh. We then get our crossover moment of the night, the Women's NXT Championship match. Jordynne Grace versus Roxanne Perez, where Roxanne Perez retains her NXT Women's Championship match. Astrid, what were your thoughts on the match?
I mean, I loved it. I know the ending was a little bit, I guess, like, I don't want to say messy, but it was like a little bit too much in that sort of way. I did like the part of Tatum going and like looking at the championship and taking it with her, but I having Dana in there was something that was unnecessary for me, because not only that, but we hear Vic saying, "Oh, it's Dana Brooke. Oh, it's Ashby Ellis," and I go, "Which one is she? Which one? Pick one, because you can't be both people." And it's kind of awkward being with her recent release that happens like that. But again, it makes me go back to the point that I think Tatum is the one that's going to answer that open challenge out against the Lost. It's like her love for the championships is going to get her towards that match, and I can see that happening. But overall, I enjoyed the match.
DC, what about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
I was expecting a little bit more out of the match, to be honest. I was okay with the outcome. I know a lot of people wanted Jordynne to win. I knew she wasn't going to win. There's no way Roxanne loses the title this early, the way they're building her right now. And she's another one too. Like, I'm going to get some hate for this because I know everyone loves Roxanne and she is like so over with the WWE universe. But like, it took me forever to get on this bandwagon. Like, honestly, until her feud with Lyra, like that's how long it took. Like, I did not like babyface Roxanne. I thought, and which is fair. I mean, she was young and learning, and like I think she was still finding herself. But her as a heel, when she first turned heel, I was like, okay, this could be different. But like, I am, especially today, like her moveset has grown a lot. She's doing new moves that she definitely did not do. Like that springboard moonsault she does from the corner now, when she jumps up on the turnbuckle, then jumps on the rope, and then does the moonsault. She did that tonight, and it was so smooth. I was like, look, this is what I want to see. Like, she's doing some new stuff. And I'm really growing with her character. And I think tonight it shined once again. Her attire was fire. Like, I think she has finally found a character that matches what she wants to portray. I think she has finally found that character. So I'm 100% okay with her winning. I think the match was pretty good. I'm with Astrid, though. I said that earlier. I thought the finish was really messy, and in my personal opinion, made Jordynne look a little weak. I thought she looked stronger in the Royal Rumble match, to be honest. So, like, I think you don't put her in this match unless you want to make her look strong. Otherwise, when you try to do these crossovers, the crowd isn't going to think too highly of it. because, okay, well, what are you going to do this time? They're going to lose again. You know, I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more out of the match. I thought they worked well together, but I think it was just the ending really that really kind of took the vibe off a little bit from the match.
Yeah, I jokingly told Astrid in our chat, and it did not go over well. 1-star Roxanne wins, 4-star Grace wins. I've not been behind the Roxanne Perez heel character. I'm the exact opposite of DC. I connected entirely because the whole story for Roxanne Perez is I'm the 13-year-old girl who was on Total Divas. I'm the 13-year-old girl who would take the Greyhound all the way down to Booker T's training school. That's a baby face. That whole thing, that whole vibe is a baby face. It's, I want this. I've done everything to be here to do this. That's a baby face. In this whole, the world is against me, when nobody's really against her and it's this own thing in her own head where everybody's against her, but nobody's really against her except maybe the fans like me. But like, I don't buy the heel character. And that's a me thing. That's not a thing of like she's doing a poor job, because she's getting better and better at it. But like you said, the in-ring stuff with her heel character is top-notch. I can't complain about her in-ring heel work. Her in-ring heel work is top-notch. She is doing fantastic work. I was hoping, like we talked about earlier, I think it would have set this whole crossover thing on fire to have Jordynne win in the first salvo. It opens up everything when something like that happens. And I just think it's a moment that, like I said, it's a dropped ball moment, but it doesn't ruin the crossover, doesn't ruin the match. The ending, I'll agree with both of you, did. I don't like the idea that Jordynne Grace cared more about going to get the belts than winning the championship, because that's not who I think of when I think of Jordynne Grace in TNA. Jordynne Grace, juggernaut, she's solely focused on one thing, and it's solely going straight and getting the job done. And for her to veer off, by elegance, of all people, like, really? You couldn't get Tasha Steelz. You couldn't get Savannah. You couldn't get Giselle Shaw. Like, you couldn't get any top-tier TNA talent. You had to bring in Dana Brooke.
I mean, I feel like Giselle wouldn't have made a lot of sense, though, because she just returned, so we had to, like, kind of build her up again towards that. Savannah, I haven't seen her, like, getting involved in that sort of way. I feel like, and I know why Ash came out in that sense, because Ash is the one that's getting built up towards the championship based on her victory so far. But Savannah has been in the back burner. Giselle just returned, like, last week. And Tasha, I don't even know what they're doing with her at this point, because they're not even using her like they should have. But yeah, it's like, it makes sense why Ash came up, but again, I would have done without her being there, especially like in the aspect of like Jordynne go after the championship. Like, your championship isn't even on the line. Just let her take it. You can take it back later. Like, there's no point. You're here for another championship on the line. Let her take that one. You can go back and get it later. Focus on the one you're trying to win right now, because you're still Knockouts champion even if she takes the championship. So that's the part that doesn't make sense to me in that aspect. And going back, also, I wanted to discuss Sean Cena's comment here about Roxanne working better as a heel. And that's a thing also that I wanted to point out, is just like the fact that Cora tried doing that as a heel before her injury, and it didn't feel genuine. But I feel like little by little, to me, Roxanne is being kind of like Bailey in that aspect, that I didn't believe her at first as a heel, and little by little she keeps building herself up in a way that she's able to do both, and I really love that about it too.
Yeah, I wholehearted. Like I said, I'm buying in more week by week, but it's a slow buy-in for me, because I still feel like everything she's doing feels babyface to me. It's just the paranoia of like, everybody's out to get me. It's just. We also get the table saying props to Jordynne for not losing a step after her earring ripped out and got stuck in Roxanne's gear. That even got a tweet out of Chris Bay tonight, who was watching the show, which made me chuckle. We also have RK Shuttleworth. Thank you for jumping in. I greatly appreciate it. Not a name that I've seen before. Thank you for stopping by. Ash is being built up by TNA, so you need to follow TNA to understand, like she said. Hi. No, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with the idea that Ash makes sense from a TNA storyline point of view. I'm just saying, if you're doing the crossover with NXT, you should be bringing out the big guns to do so. Even if it doesn't quite make sense in the storyline, I just feel like people who would either be more recognizable or people that you want to push at the end, like in your end game. Like, I don't see Ash by Elegance being their end game right now. So it's like, you could have had somebody. I'm also still upset that we didn't get a Joe Hendry yet. We've had this TNA crossover for 2 weeks now, and we still haven't seen him, and we've said his name a whole bunch, and he hasn't appeared. So hopefully in Scotland this weekend.
Were you guys disappointed in that a little bit? I was kind of upset about those chants during the match. I didn't like that.
What, the TNA chants?
The Hendry chants during the women's title match. I was like, come on, y'all. Like,
yeah, there's a time and a place. Like, I don't think Joe Hendry belonged coming in now. But I believe, like as a whole, at some point in the night, I think it would have been fun to see Joe Hendry just pop into frame at some point.
Yeah.
Like, he had no. They're WWE fans are the best and the worst, but you've got to understand this is the best and worst version of the WWE fans, because these tickets were $500 lower bowl, $250 upper bowl for this itty bitty arena. So it's like you weren't getting your best fans because your ticket prices were so outrageous that you're only getting a very small subset.
I paid just as much for my tickets to SummerSlam as those tickets for NXT Battleground were.
Yeah, when I went to Battleground last year, I got third row, like next to Vic Joseph and stuff, like off to the side. So I'm on hard cam side, near where Alicia Taylor was sitting. In her little box over there, and I was third row, and I paid $100.
That's crazy
for my NXT Battleground last year, and these tickets are $500 in that itty bitty little venue. Like, it's ridiculous. I agree with the issues of the booking. Yeah, there's something to say there. WWE knows Dana Brooke more than others. You mentioned, anyways. I agree, but I don't think WWE fans know Dana Brooke in the light that you want to bring her back.
Like I said earlier, remember, I barely recognized her, and I watch WWE every week, all 3 shows, and I barely recognized Dana Brooke. It took me a second to even figure out who it was.
I've also under the conspiracy that Dana Brooke was replaced sometime between her NXT time and when she got brought up to the main roster, because there's a different she gets a lot of work done in between. Yeah. And she looks drastically different from the one who faced Asuka in NXT. But we're going to move on from Dana Brooke because, there's really not much to say about Dana Brooke. And
we get Wendy on Tuesday now.
That's right.
We do get Wendy on Tuesday. That's Astrid. You're going to be coming. Astrid. You broke a mirror. Why were you breaking a mirror, Astrid?
I don't believe it. Look, it's fine.
DC, so you're not lost here. We call Astrid Wendy Chu because she loves her naps before NXT. So we'll go ahead. Most WWE fans wouldn't know anyone else, but okay, move on. WWE fans do live in a bubble, but I feel like NXT fans are the ones that would know who people are. If you're going to get anybody, I think your NXT fan base is the most likely to cross over with the other brands because 100%. They are the most hardcore of the WWE fan base.
100%.
In my mind. Unfortunately, we're moving on to something not so great with Lola Vice and Sexy Red twerking and then trying to really, really, really poorly trying. And I know I was so bad because I wrote in my notes Mackenzie, and Mackenzie doesn't even work there anymore. That was Sarah Schreiber, I think, then?
No.
I know it wasn't Kelly Kincaid, so I think it has to be Sarah Schreiber. But in my notes, I wrote Mackenzie to twerk. Does anybody want to talk about this, or can I move on?
We could definitely move on.
Wes Lee gets attacked by Gallus backstage after he's talking about how pissed off he was that he didn't get the win tonight. And then the Gallus attacks, and the 3 of them are there. And I'm like, 3 members of Gallus. Wes Lee needing a couple of partners. Well, I see a couple of rascals coming to NXT in the next few weeks. And then Ashley goes, but there's 3 of them. And I go, no, there's only 2 rascals. And then there's Wes Lee that we have at home, which is Myron Reed, who's the 3rd rascal currently over in TNA.
Perfect time.
I love Myron Reed, but Myron Reed is definitely Wes Lee that we have at home. for those kids that want to like. But I want a new system. But we have one at home. That's the difference there. I'm excited for that. Like, I don't want to see Zachary Wentz on my TV screen again, but
yeah, I've seen they've been pushing for it on Twitter too for a while. I think Wesley was the first one to tweet it, like, "Oh yeah, reunion if we're doing crossovers." I like Wesley more by himself, to be honest. I watch both. I think Wesley is so great by himself. I really don't think it's. I hope they go a different direction, but I think that's where we're going. I think we are going to get a crossover, and I think we're going to get a reunion with those guys coming back,
which is fine, I guess. Like it raises some questions with some of these people that NXT didn't release Zach Wentz for the most positive reasons.
Right.
So bringing him in will be an interesting sell to the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, he's dating Gigi now, and I guess I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know there's those situations are always rough to judge and kind of gauge. Yep. So like, you never know how the universe is going to react. I know how I would react, but like, I don't know how everyone else would react. And so I think we will. I think you're onto something. I think that is what we're heading towards. I didn't even think of that. I just thought we were going to get Coffey and Wesley to feud for a while, but like, I didn't even think of that. I totally forgot that Wesley was calling for that reunion on Twitter until you mentioned it. So yeah, I think that's exactly where we're heading.
I mean, I think it gives another partnership moment. It lets the partnership get a win for the TNA side because you're still pushing an NXT talent in that. So I think that's a much easier pill to swallow for the WWE side to be able to go ahead and have a win like that, to have the Rascals get that win via Wesley. We then move on to the main event, which really shouldn't have been the main event. No offense to these guys. I love them both to death. But there's no reason why Trick Williams versus All Ego Ethan Page and his brand new Death Rebel theme. Oh, God, it's fucking awful.
He's all ego.
Ego. He got some chance tonight.
I love Ethan Page. I think he's great. I think he's been underutilized everywhere he's been. Even though TNA, I thought, really did well utilizing him in his creativity, I thought he's been underutilized everywhere else he's been, a.k.a. AEW and Ring of Honor. But I think he looked like $1 million tonight. I think he looked like a bigger, better deal tonight. They just need to get him a theme that isn't Death Rebel. I don't care who you have to pay. I don't care if you have to go crying on your hands and knees back to CFO $. You need to get those boys back because those boys made some banger themes. Pay whatever royalties you need to their stupid booking people and just get them back because I'm sick of the Death Rebel themes.
Yeah.
They've been I don't know what's been going on with that room in WWE with whoever is in that room with the theme music. Like, started with Braun Breaker when they messed up his stuff. I'm like, we're just at this point, we're just finding stuff to do. Like, we've all had those moments at work where like trying to find some stuff to do, and it's like that's what it feels like. It's like, all right, well, Braun Breaker's on the main roster. What do we do? Let's change his music for no reason at all. Like
Tiffany Stratton has new worst music on the main roster.
I don't know.
I'm like, why did we change her theme music? Hers was great, and you made it. And they've even made the original theme.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm with you. I don't know what's going on. Definitely was not feeling his theme coming in. I don't even know if he did, because like even he looked kind of like it just didn't match his personality. It didn't really feel like it matches his character. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, I'm definitely hoping for something else. But in the match in particular, like it was a good match. Like I like I said earlier, it would have looked better and seemed better if it wasn't the main event. I think you switch the ladder match with that, and I think that's an easy switch. Like, I know Trick Williams, the NXT champion, he's, you know, quote unquote, the biggest star on the brand, which he is. I mean, Trick Williams is the biggest star on the brand right now, but that doesn't mean he has the main event. That story literally just started a week ago. Like, that story literally had the least buildup of all the matches on the match card. So, like, start with that. And
I think you could have easily done that story. Like, again, go back to Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar comes out and he's like, look, if I'm not main eventing, fuck this shit. I'm going on first.
Yeah.
If we're not last, we're first.
Exactly.
Like, and have Trick Williams come out and be like, look, I know we're supposed to be doing the ladder match. I know I'm supposed to main event. I can't wait to get my hands on this man.
Exactly.
We're doing this right now. It immediately pumps up that crowd.
Exactly.
It makes that match feel bigger, and it puts it on the early portion of the card. So if you're not going to switch the title, nobody cares. Because like I said, I didn't need Ethan to win.
Right.
But like I wanted the idea that he could win. And that was the idea in the main event, is like, oh, he might win. They might actually do this. How cool would that be? And then they didn't. Sorry, DC, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I mean you're nailing it. Like that's literally what my point I was making. Is like you switch those two matches and it creates a little bit, I think the story matches up better if they switched it like that. Because like I said, the actual match had some bright moments. Like they actually worked really well together, and that was my first time since TNA seeing Ethan in the ring. I didn't get to watch any of his AEW runs. I don't watch AEW. So I didn't get to see any of that. And from what I heard, I didn't miss a whole lot of his run in AEW. Yeah. So I did miss a whole lot. But from what I've seen tonight with Trick, he's great in the ring. Like, I mean, he makes sense to be in that feud. And I think, NXT has another star on their hands. They really needed one too. I think he comes at perfect time because other than Trick Williams, there's not a whole lot to throw at him right now that he hasn't already beaten or that makes any sense to feud with him. Like for a while, I was getting scared thinking they were going to throw him against Noam Dar as the main event. Like I was getting so nervous. I was like, please don't do this. Like, and then Ethan Page comes along. I'm like, thank God. Because like, I'm a Metaphor fan, but I did not like Noam Dar by himself. So like
we talked extensively one night when we realized that they were building to a battleground match between Noam Dar and Trick, and we're like, you're literally going from Ilya Dragunov and Trick Williams to Noam Dar. Like,
no thanks.
I get he needs a heel, but really, that's the best we can find.
I was getting worried, but this match saved it. I think this gives Trick Williams a little bit more firepower to his title reign. I think we're still just getting started with that, and both look good tonight. I really don't think either one really took that much of a fall, especially because like you said, a lot of people didn't really expect Ethan to win anyway. It's just a big way to debut like that. It makes him important right away. So I think both of them thrived in that match, and Ethan got distracted at the end and caught Trick's finisher, which looked really good at the end. Ethan definitely looked like he was ready for it and, reacted to it really well. They just meshed really well. I was actually really surprised at how well they worked together because you can't imagine that they've got to work together this quickly, that often behind the scenes. So they look good.
Before we get to Ash, just want to. Braun and Tiffany's new themes aren't good. Not a fan of Ricochet's theme. I'll miss him. Yeah, we'll talk about Ricochet probably towards the end of the show. I hate that they changed AJ Styles, Damian Priest, and Bayley's themes. Yep. And you're going to hear a lot more. Anything that was made by CFO dollar signs is eventually going to get changed at some point, I would imagine. Which sucks because there are some real bangers still left in that tank. Ashley, what do you think of the main event here, though?
It was a fun match, but I feel like since they put it as the main event, I feel like I would have had Ethan win it just to end it on a surprise in that sort of way. Because I imagine the shock from like not only the people there watching it, but in the community online, seeing Ethan win it on his date like PLE debut like that. I feel like that would have caused a buzz that you kind of wanted to get out of this pay-per-view, because if you're gonna put this as a main event, you need to end it with like a shocker or something that's gonna leave it like kind of like cliffhanger in a way to get people talking. Because if not, then that would have mean like Roxanne and Jordynne could have been the main event, or the women's match could have been the main event. The ladder match was like, because those were in a way more like they had something to them. There was a surprise to them, and they could have ended with that exclamation point to the end. And that's the only part that I would have changed about this. I mean, if you're gonna make it like this, then give us a surprise, give us that exclamation point, give us a little something to make it more meaningful. Because like DC was saying, this was the match with the least built up that we had. So it's like the least you could have done is like do something here to make people talk about the match when it was done. Because people are gonna say, "Oh, Ethan is in NXT. That's amazing." People are gonna have discussions here and there, but for example, apparently like even off screen or attacked Ethan again afterwards. It's like something like that or just trying to get in there and costing Ethan the match, would have made people talk about the match afterwards because something happened during the main event, not just like a clean finish, to put it like that. So I feel like I would have added something a little more there. So it's like, I don't know what happened with Chef Sean, if he was falling asleep when this happened and then he missed out. I don't know, but it's like he was not cooking for the ending of this match. That's the only thing I'll say.
You know what? At this point, Chef Sean was backstage with Sexy Red, and he was getting distracted. I don't know if you heard the quote, but apparently there's a quote that Sean talked about how if this were 30 years ago, it would have been a different story with Sexy Red or something. I saw the headline. I'm like, I don't even want to go into this, because if I do, I'm going to go down a bad rabbit hole, because I remember Sean from 30 years ago. And that man was a menace, and there would have been a whole different main event for this pay-per-view, and it would have been bad. But no, I like this match. The match itself is great. The positioning makes it worse. In the main event, you expect something to happen, or you had a better match. Like, this match was good. It's 3.5 stars. It's that this is a really good quality match. Nothing bad happened. Nothing great happened. It was just a good match. The ending made perfect sense. All ego Ethan Page gets in his own way because he's all ego, and he takes the trick shot right to the face. Perfect ending. That makes sense. It still keeps Ethan strong. It lets it go on. I would have preferred the Oro Mensa thing to happen on screen as opposed to off screen, because we've now had 3 Oro Mensa attacks on Ethan Page, and all of them have been covered by social media. And I'm like, you're now going to set up a feud between Oro Mensa, Noam Dar, and Ethan Page, all set up by things that were started on the internet. You have television, just use it. There's no reason you can't have this man attack him on television. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Sean,
this was
alone.
Yeah, I'm with Astrid. He might have been asleep and backstage and enjoying himself too much with Sexy Red and Lola Vice backstage or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you guys. Like I said, I think everything happened tonight that was supposed to. I guess to just summarize, I would have changed around some matches, and just to make it simple, I would have just switched the beginning and end, just to make it simple.
Yeah. So, Mr. DC, can you go ahead and let us know where we can find you? Because I forgot to make a graphic for this. And I'm going to make it as you speak. So can you tell us where we can find you on the internet?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter /X at DC Hendrix. You can search me on Facebook as DC Hendrix. Instagram, I'm at official DC Hendrix. And then definitely check out, I write as well outside of this for Daily DDT. You can check me out at dailyddt.com. Just search my name. You can find some of my work there. I do, as they said earlier at the beginning of the show, I host a Monday night Raw post show each and every Monday night for Body Slam with my amazing, lovely co-host Amanda Savage. Every Monday night we have a little bit of fun after Raw and try to recap our lives too, because we both got some crazy lives outside of wrestling. We just try to have fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. So each and every Monday night, be sure to check us out around 11, a little bit after Raw. Just check us out on the Body Slam channels, and that's where you can follow us.
So I'm just going to put it all in there for people while we go ahead and Astrid, why don't you tell the people what you've got coming up this week?
This week, I know Tuesday we'll do Taking Over again, talking about the post Battleground scenarios that we have in NXT. But if you go on my YouTube channel, I have a new episode of Ladies Vision Showcase with Mel that just happened over the weekend as well. And yeah, all the interviews will be there as well. Anything I've had 3 that I've put on my YouTube channel so far, so you can check those out. You can find me Twitter and Blue Sky as Astrid Pizarro, Instagram and Threads Astrid Pizarro 20, and I get just like these things that you can go on Body Sam's YouTube channel. You can find all my stuff there, so you can support there too.
And of course, you can find me this Tuesday with Astrid, like she said, but you can also find me this Wednesday on Marvel Talk, as we have the episode where we are doing our Marvel MCU rebound, where we are going back all the way to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. We're going to be talking all about Cap 2 with our good friend Lauren Goodnight. So me, Andre C., and Lauren Goodnight are going to be recapping we figured for Pride Month we needed to get the most, bromancy that we could get for the MCU. That is, of course, the bromance between Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, and Bucky Barnes. There's no better bromance in the MCU than those three guys. You can also find me on Twitter at edfries12584. Find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. But like I said, want to go ahead and definitely give some love to DC Hendricks. Thank you for joining us. This has been a whole lot of fun. We greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. And we're going to get out of here because it's after midnight and we don't normally go this late. I'm sure we're all pretty tired. So we all got work in the morning. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for joining us. We'll greatly appreciate it. Talk to you later. Goodbye.